Hey there, Bob Fergus Constant Gardener. Welcome to the OCG Fam Show to you, my YouTube buddies. What's going on? Let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it after the show, but right now let's just get into the show. Ripening. You're getting to the end of your run. You want to start seeing your plant, kind of fading away, going to a more of an autumn tone there, browning off. And what if it's not? What if it's staying green? What do you do? How do you work with that? Scott had some thoughts about that in the clip I'm going to show you right now. I'd like you to watch it. I'll talk to you after.
And when he's not flushing like a flush during thing, he's talking about flushing at the end to
it sounds like it's in the last
yellow
couple
everything
weeks.
out.
And
yeah. So would you drop the?
you can cut out everything and anything you want towards the end of the cycle without much issue. Especially, I've got a lot of guys. I got a guy right now who's running a cookies genetic that wants a bigger yield, which. Grow a non-cookies genetic and you'll get it.
Grow more plants.
Yeah, but one of the things with cookies, they really like that nitrogen. They stay green and they really have a hard time going into that fall discoloration into the rosy reds and the deep purples. For cookies, for what he's asking, I believe, would be reducing that nutrient load so you're not continuously feeding the foliage to stay that color and stay producing cells. Instead, you really want them to start cannibalizing themselves in those last 2 to 3 weeks. If you're not seeing the fall colors, then kind of extend out your final flush. If it was 10 days, go to 14 days. See how your fade works at that point. A lot of guys just start reducing their nutrients after week 5, week 6, so they can start seeing the plant actually consuming itself because it knows it's in the later stages of flowering. They're not giving it all this extra protein and nutrition to keep them green and producing foliage. Instead, they're relying on the plant to break itself down to feed the flowering bodies to give them more girth and flavor and trichome production. Because once the plant knows it's going out and it's done, it wants to reproduce. It's going to beautify itself. It's going to become more sticky and oily. It wants to collect pollen in the air, so it's doing its damnedest to break its body down to give it to its fruit to create the next generation of plant. So, for this one, I'd say, Gaia, Medusa, Athenas, Demeters, start wiping it out in week 7 if you're in a 10-week. Give it that 3 weeks, and then cut everything out by the week, 2 weeks out, and then just perk and afro flush it for the last 10 to 14 days. That should enhance all your flavors and reduce that chlorophyll green flavor you might be getting from having plants that don't fall into the fall color category at the end of their cycle.
So, in retrospect on my next round, knowing what I know now, I would cut off feeding earlier, but
reducing it
earlier. But as I'm going now, and I'm getting to my 7 days, I'm not going to get locked into that. I'm just going to leave I'm not going to cut it down till a little while longer to let it actually go yellow, or do I still have to cut it down at the same time?
Oh no, you still, because you don't want to over ripen on the plant, because then it changes all your trichomes and all your cannabinoids get flipped. So it's still looking at your full genetics and monitoring amber, monitoring trichome heads, and harvesting at the right time, and learn every round. All right, that didn't do it. I need to go to 15 days. That didn't do it. I need to go to 20 days. Ooh, that was overdone. All right, this genetic is 17 days of ripening. Then it's perfect. But it's just getting to know your grow, your garden, your plant, your genetic, and then how these things are working in the end. Not all the genetics are like the cookies. They'll take nitrogen through the air all the way to the end and stay green. Yeah, you really just got to strip them with water at that point. Just drain everything out of the soil and let them cannibalize. If they can find it, they're going to suck it up. They're going to keep it. If you're trying to just yield mad 3 pound of light on little cookie flowers, I mean, it's called veg time. You veg for 20 weeks and then flower for 10, you'll get your weight. But if you're vegging for 6 and flowering for 10, your tops are kind of dictating your weight. Because if you only got so much and your plant's only so tall, you're not going to produce a lot on cookie genetics. You'll always do fine, but 3 pounder genetics for cookies is tough. So, yeah, it's just cut them out earlier. The nutrients, those, to get your fade.
Okay, what do you think? Informative, entertaining, helpful? Let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. The OCG Fam Show. It's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCG Fam Show. See you tomorrow.